All right, who are you?
My name is Brendan Outlaw.
And what did you do?
I made Top-64 at the most recent Indianapolis regional.
Close enough.
Yeah, are they in the same direction?
Sort of.
Same general direction. Point is, I
Let's
got
get to the deck
got
list.
my invite. All right, get to the deck list. I played Sky Striker, but I call it Brick Striker because I bricked so much. But yeah, here we go. So Power 1-Ups, called by. This card's cracked. I'm gonna get into why I like it so much later. Upstart, Rhoda, and Terraforming, all very important cards. This just lets you play, one less in the deck, and it's a spell. Next up is the 2 Fusion Destiny for the DPE engine. DPE just makes the deck way more versatile. This deck thrives on like 1-for-1 trades in value, and so having a DPE on board, which lets you recur every single turn a 1-for-1 trade in value, pretty good. Another example of those 1-for-1 trades is the Forbidden Chalice. It's just like another Widow Anchor that you can't search. And sometimes it has benefits for like letting you swing over things or do a little bit extra damage. I don't know, I like it a lot. Plus the 400 that you get off of this is kind of negged by having a DPE on board because they lose 400. Next up is the Striker spells. I have the one of Afterburners. This overperformed dramatically. I will be playing this at 2 in future deck lists, especially this format. It is just a very good card. Forces a negate out. It stops a Flunder board from being like incredible. I love everything about this card. Plus, it's good spell or trap removal in the middle of the game or early if you can get enough spells in grave. Next up is the multi-roll at 1. Great for resource recursion, blah, yada, yada. You hear it in all the deck lists. Engage. You know what it is. The Hornet drones, it's just an extra pilot. So next up is the one of Eagle Booster. This is what I will be cutting for the additional copy of Afterburners. Afterburners is just too good. And Eagle Booster doesn't really do enough. Plus, it doesn't do anything to your opponent, really. It just kind of insulates your own plays. And Called by the Grave is another copy of this. Called by the Grave is also another copy of this, Shark Cannon, which I play at 1. I will continue to play it at 1. I never, the entire regional, found myself wanting more copies of that card. If I needed it, I could search for it, or I could set it off a multi-roll, I could dump it off Ayate and then set it. I never needed an extra copy. It's not a starter. It does not do anything to start your turn, and you can't even use it to interact with your opponent on their turn unless it's set. I'd rather have another hand trap or another starter in place of a second copy of this, but it's very good to have at 1 at the least. Next up is 1 copy of Area 0. I'm seeing some more Striker players do this. I'm upping it to 2. Like I said, it's Brick Striker. I bricked a lot. The more ways that I can get to see my aces, the better. Or even just more Striker cards, the better. So Area 0 at 2 should be staple, in my opinion. I don't know. I might even play it at 3. 3 might be a little clunky, but 2 is definitely what it will be at in future playtesting.
It also feels a little weird to be playing the 1 Terraforming and then the Area 0.
Well, so it doesn't become completely useless just because if I draw into both, I can use the Terraforming as the target, or I could off multi-roll send it. I never once drew into the Terraforming after not having my field spell and it being like a dead card. But yes, I agree. Next up would be the 3 Widow Anchor.
Obviously,
it's a great card. It's like Chalice, but better. Searchable, yeah, it's like Chalice. This lets you make DPE with your opponent's monsters too, which is a big deal. Also, it helps you push for a game. All right, so to the hand traps. Triple Imperm.
it's like Chalice.
It's like Chalice, but you can use it on the opponent's. Triple Nibiru, just like Chalice. Triple Nibiru. Main decking this actually was a very good idea. It's a super easy side out against decks that it doesn't matter against, and then also against like the power decks like 60 card pile, Sword Soul, Dragon Link, Brand. What's it called? Oh, Based.
Yeah.
This card it's incredible. It's very, very good to have,
especially in combination with
the fact that I'm playing a bunch of other hand traps and negates. Yes. Ash at 3. Ash is a good card. That speaks for itself. Veiler at 3, just because if you're playing main deck Nibiru, having the Imperms and the Veilers are going to guarantee, or at least give you an increased chance to guarantee that the Nibiru is going to go off. Ogre at 2. I'm cutting this. Not because Ogre's bad. I just think I would rather see a starter than Ogre. It's just not high impact enough against enough matchups, and most matchups I found myself siding it out.
And it's good against Brave.
It's good against Brave, but like one friggin' Chalice.
Yeah.
Stops Griffin Rider all the same.
Yeah, yeah.
So then my DPE pieces, the Celestial and the Dasher. This was my fault. I forgot to use Dasher's effect a lot. I probably could have done more this event. Things definitely would have been a lot smoother had I remembered to use Dasher and Grave. I remembered Celestial. That was important. But I kept forgetting to use Dasher. So don't forget to use Dasher. That's a big one.
Especially to summon Nibiru.
Especially to summon Nibiru. Yeah, that was the most annoying thing. Most of my bricks were because I forgot to use Dasher effect to summon Nibiru. Don't be stupid like me. Next up is Rose. So I play Rose at 2. I'm going to be playing her at 3 in future deck lists. Just not seeing a pilot felt bad, and especially with how many hand traps and like cards that we're playing to stop the opponent, you need more pilots. And so playing Rose at 3 feels fine, especially with the DPE build where, it gives you more access to Verte earlier. 3-ray. Obviously, I'm not going into that. All right, let's go to the side deck next, shall we? This side deck is going to be getting an overhaul. Kind of bad. It's kind of bad. A little awkward. I took the advice of a friend of mine who's very good at the game leading up to the regional, and I don't want to be ungrateful because I definitely topped. Thank you, Chris Pike. But this side deck was just atrocious. Anyway, so cards that I'm definitely keeping. The one of Harpy's Feather Duster.
Of course.
Is that the only card I'm keeping? Maybe. Probably. I don't know. I'm playing one of Lightning Storm. If I had 3 copies of it, I probably would have been playing that. But I only have 1, so I'm playing it at 1. This card's coming out immediately. Evenly matched. It just never, ever was sided in. I would look at it in my side deck and just be like, well, this is sad. I don't want to put you into my deck. Next up is the 3 Sanctum, the 1 Scythe, and the 3 Lancia. Lancia will be staying, but the Scythe Sanctum package, probably not. I don't know. It was okay. It was okay. I honestly cannot remember if it won me a game or not. I know that I resolved it twice, but drawing into the Scythe feels bad. It's adding another brick. So I'm trying to avoid. I don't know. I don't like the idea of adding additional bricks into a deck that already bricks this hard. We'll see. We'll see. I got to overhaul. And then last up was the triple Godarla. I liked this. I didn't love it. It might stay for further playtesting. It's good against Flunder because if they use their barrier statue, you can just, tribute over it. It's okay. It's definitely the best kaiju to be playing right now. If you're adamant about playing kaijus, pick up 3 of this card. All right, and now the extra deck. So let's go ahead and start with our striker monsters. Triple Shizuku.
Obviously.
Triple Kagari.
Also obviously.
Double Hayate. That's pretty staple these days, unless you're playing Pure, which I'm not. One kind of staple. 1 Zeke. I've seen some striker lists play 2 of this. I can understand that. There are times where I have to make it early, and I hate the fact that I have to make it early, and I want another one middle of the game or late game. But I'm thinking about playing some spicy tech coming up here that will make running a second Zeke obsolete, we shall say. But I don't want to tell you what the spicy tech is, because if it's nuts, I want to be the guy that reveals how good it is. And if it's awful, I don't want to be the guy that's like, oh, what an idiot. He said to play this card. This is awful. Next up would be the Dark. This overperformed. Definitely played this. This is going to give you your access code. Talker plays without needing to drop a whole bunch of money on Hulk. The one of Ningirsu helps out problem cards. I made it once. It's just nice to have on occasion. It's also spell and trap removal, which is a little silly, but I used it for spell and trap removal, and it worked out just fine. Hit him with a...
It also outs Dragoon.
Yeah, well, so what it outs Dragoon, but the funniest thing was, I actually, I made this to out... Oh, God, what was it? It was a floodgate, but it was like a weird floodgate. I think it was Mistake. Yeah, I think it's Mistake sounds funny. I think they made Mistake, or they used Mistake, and I'm like, oh, okay, Widow Anchor to steal your monster, link 2 into Ningirsu with my Kagari that I left on board, and then send the Mistake into the Ningirsu.
Well, it's a link 3, but yeah.
Well, link 3, yes.
Yeah.
But point is, I used it to out that card, and I just activated Engage. Next up is the Access Code Talker.
Obviously.
And then, of course, the DPE package with everyone's favorite cards, Verte and Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer. It just adds a lot to the deck, honestly. The deck, it's super predictable, especially as a pure build. So adding DPE as an additional play that can confuse your opponent or that you can use to interact with stuff helps add versatility. It makes the deck feel a little bit more alive. Plus, the draw 2 off Celestial is not bad. I don't like drawing into the bricks, but again, that spicy tech I'm thinking about playing could actually put the bricks back into my deck after drawing new cards to replace them. So we shall see. Yeah.
Did you miss the Halxolian at all?
Never once. Never once. That combo is overrated.
Fair enough. Alrighty, do you have any shout-outs?
Yeah, I got some shout-outs. First off, Club Yu-Gi-Oh! Ohio, Team Yu-Gi-Oh! Ohio, which is where we are right now, filming our deck final. That's Dylan. There you go. Also, Heroes and Games at the Columbus Convention Center. They've been a big sponsor of us for a while. No Limit Gaming, they provided our club with a ton of prize support, card sleeve material. They pretty much helped gear up a lot of the players that we have here into getting to be more competitive players. And then also huge thanks to Refined Gaming. They provided us with sealed product, deck mats, binders, card sleeve. They've been huge, one of our biggest sponsors. Love them to death. Yeah, that would be it off the top of my head. Oh yeah, and Chris Pike for the deck list.
Fair enough.
Awful deck list, but it worked, so he knows what he's talking about at least.
Alrighty.